Please meet Princess Amunet. She will claim what she has been denied.
Evening everyone, it's Nick here from Critical Hit Entertainment. So, hell, I'm kind of getting a reputation now for talking and doing sort of critiques and reviews for shit movies, and once again, I'm doing it this evening. I just got back from watching The Mummy, the Alex Kurtzman directed movie, the 2017 version of The Mummy, of course. I think The Mummy became quite famous back in, I think it was the 2000s with Brendan Fraser, and I enjoyed the Katniss. I enjoyed the movie. It was fun, it was colourful, everything that this movie isn't, unfortunately. Even with a sort of highbrow caliber actors, see, the movie has actually made me stupid than I usually am. Even with high caliber actors like Tom Cruise, Russell Crowe, Sophia Boutella, who was in Star Trek Beyond and in Kingsman with the sharp blades. Even with people like this, they couldn't save a movie that is quite a simple premise, really. And the movie really is quite simple, but it tries to take itself too serious. That's the biggest problem about this movie. It takes itself too damn serious. If they wanted to go for a comedy thing like a Brendan Fraser, it would have worked. It would have been good. Instead, they have a sidekick who is terrible in this. He disappears for basically no reason. We kind of do find out a bit later what he's trying to do, but does it badly. You have Tom Cruise, who is, I think, a very good actor, but he's a very good actor. And thank God for Tom Cruise, because this movie would have been really, really bad if it wasn't for him pushing for that airplane scene. There's a scene where the airplane sort of drops in the sky, and he insisted that they do this in zero G, of course, because Tom Cruise, why not? Insurance companies, fuck you all. And that was the best scene of the entire movie. It lasted 3 minutes. It was very much like a Mission Impossible 17 or whatever the hell the next one is. And it was fantastic. Beautifully shot, beautifully choreographed. And I thought to myself, my God, is this Alex doing the directing, or did maybe Tom Cruise take the reins on this? Certainly felt like Tom Cruise did. The premise of the movie is really ridiculous compared to like even the Mummy 1, 2, the Scorpion King, and the other one that no one talks about. At least those had better, a bit more juicier motivations of the lead bad guy, Amarat, I can't remember. Spice either way. Her motivation for summoning a demon is that I want to kill my husband and his wife and baby because I'm no longer in line. The kid is the newborn kid. Which they kind of get messed. Yeah. Anyway, so she summons a demon to do this. You know, I could kill if I needed to. Get a knife, pokey, and people die. Tend to anyway. The blood's supposed to be on the inside, goes on the outside. But no, she summons a demon. Sort of Lucifer, apparently we call it nature in the chronology of life and time. This is 5,000 years ago, of course, and that's the entire part of the movie. So she summons this demon, and things go to hell, of course. Much like the movie, the entire thing is kind of like being in hell, I suppose. This is kind of what Hades must feel like. And I don't want to be like really, really mean, but it really is stupid. You have very, very simple things that just don't make sense. You have a character, for example, and this is not giving any spoilers away because it's within the first 5 minutes or so, saying, those are not there to raise the sarcophagus, they're there to keep it down. But 2 minutes later, they're very obviously raising the sarcophagus. So the scriptwriter was obviously doing every third page, and the other guy was doing every second, and the other one was doing every, I don't know, whatever. But it didn't seem to make any chronological sense at all. Continuity is all off the charts. Absolutely ridiculous. I do feel sorry for the actors because they had very little material to work with. As I say, I really do like Tom Cruise. I like Russell Crowe. He was playing sort of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, which was kind of I was really hoping it was going to be great, but it turned into almost like a sort of pantomime between his two selves, because there was not really much of a difference at all. I mean, Crowe put on quite a bit of weight for this movie, apparently, and you could see it, but unfortunately his alter ego, the big bad guy, is only a little bit bigger than him. It's not like, looking at the Incredible Hulk popping out of a scientist. It's 1/8 the size, 1/10 the size of him, so it wasn't much of a shock there. The big bad girl, I think they probably picked her up on the way back from the Suicide Squad shooting or set, because she basically reminded me of her. The makeup is pretty sketchy, and she doesn't do quite the whole with her arms, but she does quite a good with her arms. So rubbish baddie, and the character's motivation made no sense whatsoever. So again, I feel sorry for the actress because she's done some really great movies. I really liked her in Star Trek Beyond, brilliant Alien. Other stuff that I really disliked about the movie. Okay, maybe this is because I watched Wonder Woman recently, and it is really nice to see big blockbuster movies through a different lens as opposed to always the man lens. And I'm not going to go SJW. I'm going to leave that for someone else to do that. But and also because I'm just ignorant when it comes to it. But it's just very obvious now. But when you see a lead actress lean over Tom Cruise, and suddenly the camera is now zooming in on her midriff for fucking no reason whatsoever. But now, look, guys. What the audience just goes melts. It's so obvious. It's forced, and it comes across as almost amateur now. It's so easy to see how they're trying to manipulate the audience, and I don't like that anymore. And I didn't like it before, but now it's just so damn obvious what you can do without having to force this and shoehorn it into movies to try and sell to a younger generation. Another thing I didn't like about this movie is that it really felt like it was setting itself up for this larger universe, and I think it was riding on that fact because it certainly didn't do a good job of it. If you look at Iron Man, for example, which is, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years old now, I forget, and the risk that Marvel took in creating that, and if that hadn't worked, they wouldn't have the 10 or 15 billion, whatever it is right now in their accounts. But Iron Man as a movie itself, I wanted to walk back and watch again. I don't want to walk back and watch that movie again. It was a waste of my life. I also don't want to watch any subsequent movies about this universe because it was so piss poorly done. It was trying to be funny and the jokes land flat. I mean, like flat. They're terrible. One or two maybe got us laughing. Then it's trying to be serious, and that doesn't make sense because you're trying to be serious and you're waiting for the punchline to come, waiting for the punchline to come, doesn't come, and so you're not quite sure what the hell's going to go on, and what's going on. Not story-wise, but just genre-wise, you don't know where you are. The CGI is poor, except for the airplane thing, because it wasn't CGI. I'm sure it was CGI, of course. But the zombies or the mummies very look like zombies to me, but they're very bad CGI. Even with the so-called Queen or Aramat or whatever, Ahmarat, or fuck, I can't remember her name. But yeah, that wasn't done very well either. And a lot of the movie is filmed at night. And even Wonder Woman, it's filmed quite dark. The scene is a dark scene, and this is dark. And maybe it was a cinema we're in, but a lot of it's dark, and it just doesn't work because you can't really see what's going on. And again, the special effects are not that great. For a movie, it's 145, 150 million, 125 million, I'm not sure, but a lot of money. Come on, Deadpool, $68 million movie, pulls that out, makes almost $1 billion. This is not going to make almost $1 billion because a lot of people won't go and see it because it's just rubbish. I do feel sorry for that. I'm really sad. I was hoping it was going to be great. Really, really hoping that Tom Cruise, for example, I mean, like I said, I do like the guy, would lead this sort of brave venture into horror and bring some kind of new universe as Alex was trying to do so desperately in this. But I think as a sort of leader at the front line, this is not going to bring that. And I do feel a bit of sorrow for it. But I cannot take away I can't bring back those 2 hours of my life that I have just wasted watching it. I mean, the movie really just it's bad. The pacing's bad. A lot of stretches where you just sit and you're kind of waiting for things to happen and they don't happen. Then suddenly a lot happens at the same time. The action story itself doesn't really make sense too. And you're also not left with closure at the end, which I can understand because of the extended universe. But you also don't know what actually happens at the end because you're like, but the entire movie's been about this, and that's why this is not. We don't want this to happen. But then something else completely different happens, and it's like, where did it come from? Did we have two scripts, and then we were like, actually, that one looks better at the end, but this one, the body looks better, and we just stuck it together like this. Felt like that. So yeah, I would actually advise you guys to just rather wait to watch this on pay-per-view or video on demand or Netflix or whatever, which is pay-per-view. Much like I said about Baywatch. Even Alien Covenant, worth watching, as I said, at the cinema, because there were some great visuals. This movie doesn't really have great visuals. And yeah, what was it Kervin said to me? If I had to watch a mummy suck this much, I would go onto Pornhub and watch MILF videos. This shit show gets a 5 out of 10.